I'm sitting here thinking of the article that I posted about Tresant, just to give people an idea about Tresant, and I compare him to Obama on a consistent basis. Always did. After Trayvon Martin and his "it's the law" answer, it angered me. Not saying that Newtown wasn't important, but he did give more empathy and everything for those children, even went to the funerals. And Trayvon Martin, he said, "it's the law." And the way he dragged himself to the podium and the way he stood at the podium, everything was such a lack of empathy for Trayvon Martin. But even though he said he could be my son, I guess that was a statement that was approved by everybody, because most black people could say, "Oh wow, he should have done that," or he would have lost his job. That's not a way we should think. We should always be ourselves. I support President Trump, but I'm not going to drop the fact that I'm an African American woman and I have a history of slavery in this country and families being separated. I'm not going to deny that. And homosexuality didn't come from Africa. They became homosexuals here. Till this day, it is outlawed in Africa. So it's not because I believe that they had sex with the men as much as the women. It's just not talked about as much as the women. And we all know that it was the women because it's our great-great-grandmothers that were raped. It's in our families. I got some cousins in Kentucky that are real bright. And the story is that she was, he gave her some babies and left her in the fields. Stories like that. But some people, black people, don't talk about their ancestors or the people that came before them. They don't. They don't ask their grandmothers. I was curious forever, and I read a lot. And I had a grandparent that did study it I think he taught it, And so it was in my house that as a child, I read a lot, too. I read a lot, and I've been reading forever. And I got that story of Tresant because on the other side of my family, my great-great-great-grandmother is Haitian. She was from Haiti around in that time. So the story spiritually came to me. And it's like I knew her. And Tresant, the thing that was left out in that story that I posted was the fact that Tresant had agreed to start slavery again in Haiti. He agreed to do it with the French for a short time. And he told the slaves like this, "Hey y'all gonna have to do this again, but for a short time." Some crap that Obama would do. He's a dirty, arrogant son of a gun. They didn't obstruct him because he was black. And I'm going to say that again. You know why? Because he wouldn't have been there. Nobody forced anybody to have a black, arrogant man with a wife or so-called wife, whatever he or she, whatever you want to put her in this conversation, or him. As evil as they are, arrogant, just arrogant. He's a trip. That's why they obstructed him, because they didn't want him to do more than he already was doing. And some of his ideas, like this illegal immigration, letting them in. Now, they constantly want to give him the credit for sending 2 or 3 million back. But I said, wait a minute, that's not adding up. With Dreamers, how many, is it a million? Is 750, what, thousand? That's almost a million. When you start programs to let them in, then you can minus a 1 million from the 3 million that he sent back. That's what he did. It's the numbers. See, because it would be okay for illegal immigration. To me, I don't like illegal nothing, because you don't come in my house without my permission and then want to take it over. It's just, you're not going to do it. If you do it, I'm going to beat your head in. I'm going to eat your fingers and poke your eyeballs out. And that actually happened to me from a relative. Came in, rearranged my apartment while I was at work, and probably for his woman. You know, she might have didn't like how close we were as cousins, or I don't know what the problem was and what story they're telling other people. But that happened to me. And I didn't say nothing the first night because I was real tired. And I said, I want to talk to you guys tomorrow. And I went to work, came back, and my bedroom was rearranged. Well, they weren't there. So I went and got a bat. Do you hear me? So if you all don't clear this up, I believe Americans will start an uprising, because you're using their money to feed and house. I heard there's people getting Social Security. Now there's some Americans waiting for Social Security. Black, white, I don't care what color they are. You have no business. And taking those Social Security numbers is a big offense. Because if I did it, I would be in jail. Let's go back to Napoleon. Napoleon and Obama. Okay. Napoleon is not Napoleon Tresant. He was supposed to have won a war with Napoleon, against Napoleon. And he feels now he's a man above all. Above it all. Sound familiar? Why would Obama move 12 miles away from the White House? And all of this confusion and obstruction that you see with the administration, President Trump's administration, and town halls, all of those are from the organization that he has set up, which is a shadow government. Now, this man, like Bush got highly criticized about the 7/11 tragedy. I mean, they wouldn't let up off of him, you know. I think I even said it. He knew that. You know, most people think he knew it, and he was highly ridiculed. But I don't know, as a person and a human being, it must have did him some good. I mean, changed him as a human being. We can go through experiences that will change us as human beings forever. Really, you can go through something and it can change you. How you are, your outlook, it may enhance it or it may break it down. But more than likely, it can enhance your being. So, President Bush will not talk about another president or make any comments. Now, he did make a comment about that will imply something about Obama. You know, Obama stopping the troops was really bad and dangerous for America, because the people can come in and destroy us without fighting them back. So that was one thing I heard it this morning. And he won't criticize either party. I mean, either Trump, President Trump, or Obama. Better person. Because that, to me, is what Obama should have done. Just leave. You know. He constantly was climbing that ladder of success on our expense, black people. You know, and like I said, he never ever said anything. He never said anything about any of the murders or deaths of the black Trayvon Martin. And we know now that that guy really did do that to that child. It was something that angered me because I could actually hear him say, "Help me, help me." I could. They said it wasn't him. Oh, Zimmerman had it together. But he said, "It's the law." This man all of a sudden knew what the law was. That's what he said over Trayvon Martin, as opposed to anything negative to the Newtown kids. There was a difference in his response. And he always had an attitude when he walked to the podium to say anything about any black person. Always. He always had the way his stance and, you know. And when he refers to you, he calls you black folks. All of you people loving him, he calls you black folks. He never says my people. Not just for a quick moment, but my people. Because he didn't want America to feel that he wasn't for them as America. Well, that's the reason why I like and respect President Trump. Because anything he wants to say, how he is, what he believes, he says it. And it's not because he's white. It's because of who he is. Sometimes it isn't a color thing. It's about who you are as a person. And what message are you giving to young people that when you get in certain positions, you got to act a certain way, you got to say a certain thing because you're black? Well, I'm going to tell you what he shouldn't have done. Meddled in this administration's business. He shouldn't have never moved 12 miles from the White House, if that was the case. Napoleon and Toussaint warred, and I believe Toussaint won. I believe. I keep reading different things all the time since I was little. But Napoleon made peace because the French wanted to go on with business as usual. Business is slaves. Cotton in the United States, that was bringing in tons of money. They needed slaves. They needed people to do that work. So Napoleon agreed to have those slaves. Now, I read that from another book, and another book totally leaves that out. But Toussaint, I'm talking about, Toussaint and Napoleon agreed to do that. Toussaint, let me repeat myself again. Toussaint and Napoleon agreed to do that. So, for Toussaint to make that agreement locked in, and for them to discuss this, for the French to come over and get slaves from Haiti, and continue slavery, they met. And when they met, Napoleon had a trick bag for him. He was immediately, by the orders of Napoleon, taken into custody, taken to the mountains where he was starved and everything to death. And some books will say pneumonia. He died. He was destroyed by the person he was going to agree, because he beat him. I'm telling you, he beat him. And so, it's almost like that Obama. Same thing. He puts himself above and then never, ever, ever, ever said, my people. He's the buffer. That's how most of the children that were bred by the master, or because his mother was a house cook or cook in a house, and the French fathered Trisant. So he's a mixed race, and he is usually the buffer between most of the mixed race. All in that time were the buffers, were the ones that talked between the white and the black. They hardly ever had anything to do with the slaves, the darkies. Never. So he was asked and had referred to the slaves. You guys, you might have to go back to slavery just for a little while. Now, I read that somewhere and I'm trying to find it. But then it could be this, spiritually you can know. Because when your people have been through so much mess, it's still in your blood. Messages, things and horrible things that were done to slaves, those Mexicans wouldn't even begin. And they constantly compare themselves to the Underground Railroad and to black people. And you cannot do that. It is disgusting. It's rude. Never say that. Because slavery was so bad that it's still, the message is in your blood. You're sent certain things and places that you can't go, and it's just certain people you can't date. Some people can't date the white people because they're older. And I really told one lady, that's because your great-grandmother was raped constantly against her will. That movie that I told you about, the Ruby McCullum. Ruby McCullum, did she really love the doctor and fall in love with him because he was a doctor and he was white? And that's why she shot him? Because she never says why she shot him. But see, the effects of slavery and the things that happen to people in slavery can affect them and trigger them. Because it's in our blood. It was that horrible and horrific. So, he asked, Trisant told them, well, you may all have to go, like that darn Obama. Just picture Obama say, go into slavery, but we won't be there long. And people said, See, because the ritual that they went through that actually freed them from slavery, and all these days, 1791, is the Haiti Revolution. But I really believe that it was earlier, because all of this is said to be, well, maybe after 1791. It was after 1791, and the Haiti Revolution took place. That's when they did. You asked me what religion or spirituality I'm a part of. I love those Africans that did that ritual, and they were never slaves. Now, when your Christian religion can do that, let me know. Because whatever they came here with from Africa And they are the proof that that Christian religion was brought to Africa. It was brought in. Please don't let me get into religion. But spirituality is so real that they never were slaves, enslaved. And they did kill a lot of the French people that had them in slavery, and the mulattoes. There were a lot of mulattoes because they were constantly having sex with the women. But they were still counted as black, but the mulattoes always had a better chance than the darky slaves. The women wore dresses and they looked pretty and, elegant, when a slave never even had shoes. Come on now. I'll tell you about illegal immigration. We were brought here. They stole us from Africa constantly to do the work, to make that money that we will never see. And you're living off of taxpayers' money. And you're right next door. Talking about mommy puppy. And I'm supposed to feel sad? You'll live. You'll survive. Getting back to Toussaint and Napoleon. So Toussaint goes back and tells the slaves, you may have to go back to slavery. I'm going to talk just like some of these old black caucus and NAACP and Obamas. All of them fail black people. Very much. He actually asked them to go back to slavery for a short time. So, just to go and show you that when they did that ritual followed, stayed there. It was hard to have. People think that Haiti is cursed because it's poor. It is not poor. Money was not received. United States is holding gold, actually, that belongs to Haiti. And somebody in one of these administrations, recent administrations, sent a black man over there to say, you don't need the money back. Sure did. This is recent. You can't even do your research because they'll change it in Google and everything else. Haiti is very rich. They didn't have cash. It was gold. And if you look outside of Haiti, there's where they're getting oil. There's a thing out there where they're getting oil. So they're very rich. So is Africa. Now, nothing poor about Haiti. But Napoleon had a meeting with Toussaint regarding this, to start it back, get back to business. They want the French to be able to come in because they were killing them. They were dying like I don't know what. And they weren't coming there, and the people were not slaves. That is power, baby. And when you want to cry about some damn Christian Bible, I reject it with everything in me. Our ancestors. But he wanted to meet with Toussaint. So Toussaint has the meeting, and by the orders of Napoleon, he had the police apprehend him at that time. You know why he did that? Because he knew that Toussaint, he had to constantly talk to Toussaint, and they really knew the power of that slave. He eliminated him and said, we're going in and get these slaves anyway. We're going to get and take them to the United States because there's good money there. And that, my friend, was cotton. Lil Weezy and a Purchase. He took Toussaint and they took him to the mountains and jailed him, and he never was seen again. In history, you're always going to find this. So be prepared, Obama. You're not going to win this fight. You're not going to win it. But what the biggest thing that Obama is guilty of is forgetting who he really was. And that is a black man. So if he was going to fight and be for the fight, he should have been about his own people. He could have been about America and everybody knew but my people. I do it. There's people on jobs and stuff have seen my little things. I don't really care because Cypress is going to be who she wants to be. I'm going to say what I want to say, and that's the purpose of all this. I love the First Amendment too, and I'm not hurting anybody else by doing it. It's on your free will to come here and listen. Right now till this day, because Haiti first stopped, although there were Haitians all over the United States. They dropped Africans everywhere for this cotton money that we will never see. We made this nation rich on our backs, being separated from our families, being beat and hung and lynched and burned, not being able to be comfortable on a plantation, much less in a state that's giving you all your damn welfare and everything you need. How dare you? And I don't cry for you, not 1 minute. I still light a candle for my ancestors, for strength, for wisdom, for the people that came before me that still live. They may not live physical form, but they're here in spiritual form, giving us strength. Louisiana, the same spot, just had a flood. And it was an earthquake, a flood. What did they have? A tornado. It's the same spot. Haiti, the same place. Why are our ancestors destroying it? Because they don't want you to go back there again. Never be a slave. Never. So, Mr. Obama, you became a slave for what other people might think about you? Is the reason why you didn't speak up for your people? Is that the reason? And you will suffer for it. And as a people, you have to look at these signs. Let go of that Bible. I'm telling you. People say, oh my Jesus this. My Jesus was a teacher that taught people their power and how to use it. But you made him the Son of God. When all the time, those people that fought not to be slaves, fought and constantly fought all the way to 3 acres and a mule after being released as slaves, all the way to Jim Crow. That's when they were scared to come out of their houses in fear of being lynched. No, the lynchers will actually come into your house and get your man from the food, from the table where he was eating his dinner. Fear. Living in fear. Watching their children being beaten and done in. And then, when they needed more man hands on for that damn cotton, they breeded black people. And some women had to have sex with their sons to breed children so they can have that money for that damn cotton. And you talking about illegal immigration. And Obama's helping them more than he could help his own. But he's going to suffer for that. Now, I guess after that big speech, you want to find out, well, what do you see in President Trump? Truth. Yes, he's white. Yes, he's into the religion, Christian thing. But everything that comes from him is the truth. And he ain't hiding it. And him not wanting the people here to take the welfare is on the benefit and behalf and a little bit of respect of that slave. Because they're the only things that I cry sometime for. It's just in my blood. Because it was evil. And we will never see a dime of it. But we had a black president. And people say, well, my children would never, I saw one star, my children only know black president. Is that all? Is that all he was to you? But he wasn't a President Trump. I tell you that. And he knows that illegal immigration hurts black people. Yes, we're wounded. We're wounded from being separated from our families. Sound familiar? We'll never be the same again. The only thing that we can envision that's fancy is the thing that we saw from the slaves and looking at the white people with the pretty dresses and the pretty coaches and the pretty ways. When we used to watch it and we say, one day I'm going to have that. Is that what you wanted, or did you want freedom? Did you want to be free to be you, who you are? And it ain't in a fancy dress. It ain't in fancy cars. And it ain't in that mighty dollar. Because half of you black people don't know what to do with it when you get it. Oh, you'll buy some property. But these little children should see more than a damn black president. They should see a black bank. A black Empire State Building. A black, with all the money now some of these black people have from stealing from other people. Their own. So, that's the story of Toussaint and Napoleon. And if you didn't get it, to me, President Trump does more for my ancestors and the people that were murdered and everything. He's helping them more than Obama ever did. And he's truthful about it. Not a lie is going to come out of his mouth. He wants it to stop. Stop stepping on the American, because we are no longer Africans. And some people say African, of African descent, American. But we're American now. Can we at least finally have peace? Everybody have a nice day. Oh, and let's help make America great again.